slide. This program needs 3 forms filled out on 3 potential employees real quick. I'm gonna have to do that. But we'll go ahead and get started, and I hope y'all brought forms today, but let's look at chapter 11 and chapter 11, sub S, that is. On page 11-43, while I'm filling out those forms, I'd like for you to try the first four problems, 28, 29, 30, 31. And when we look at those, that'll be a review for us. Take you long to get these filled out. Now, Cole, what were you looking for Michelle for? To turn in your schedule? You have it with you? I just sent Robert up on the hill, but I'm gonna be back. I'll be back Monday. You won't be back until Tuesday, right? I'm gonna lay this on my desk if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
And I'll get Michelle's off for funeral tomorrow. I'll be back Monday meeting. I'll turn this in for you.
Thank you. But you're not in the schedule. You call up. Everybody. Not even like.
That's 40. It's 28 through 31.
It's 11:43. That's not it.
43, 11, that's 43.
I can just search it up. I can just type it
I know I do.
in. Do you?
I still have one.
Did he post it on the site?
Thank you. Yes.
I think so. What's her name? Says that.
Hey guys, let's see what you do with those. So I get these fours. You just had it down on one for me. for me real quick.
Conflicts.
Is it COMFIDENCA?
Yeah.
I have to make sure I had that question. I think I got it.
Which one?
You didn't win.
No.
Okay, finally, we're back and we're at it. HR is particular anymore. I think they're afraid of discrimination cases and what have you. Uh, if we supposed to interview 4 people, even a telephone interview, we had to write down why they were not selected. Uh, and I wrote down my number 1 choice. We had to do a whole lot of rating on their education, their background, and start the business and teaching, blah, blah. But this one guy, I just made a comment on his that could not speak English, could not communicate. I don't know if he was Hispanic or what. His first name was Miguel. I know that Spanish name because I have a half Spanish nephew. His name's Miguel. His dad's full Spanish. But anyhow, the guy had taught a lot of the place, and he was smart enough, I guess, and had the degrees. But our students here at Bluefield State don't need somebody that can't speak English. So that's for sure. Because Clayton, it's hard to understand English sometimes. And I don't say that bad. We're just from Southwest Virginia. What is this? What part of West Virginia is this? South? What? What part of West Virginia is this? Or southeast, northeast, what? Southern West Virginia. That's southern, and I'm Southwest Virginia. So I have to be careful because Virginia goes on up to Alexander, D.C., and then West Virginia goes this way up towards Parkersburg and Morgantown, I guess. All right. But we're Southern folks. That's what it means. And I don't know about some of you all, how you were in English. But I had a literature professor at UVA Wise. I went there 2 years. And if you didn't relate every story and every poem, something other about sex, you didn't get a good grade. But if you can relate to sex, boy, you got a B or an A on that evaluation of that, you know. So I was never good in English. Okay, let's look at these solutions that I asked you to do. What we're doing, we're looking at an S corporation. We've got next week to look at forms. And if I just have two of you on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to do it. I'd like to have more people here. Terry, she live streams all the time anyway, and Hillary's, like I say, pregnant. And Jonathan's out looking for a new girlfriend. Okay. I guess, Jonathan, I'm just kidding. You know that. Okay, problems on page 43. Comparison of entity forms and QBI deductions. All right, Carl is a single taxpayer. He owns 100% of Delta Corporation. During 2018, Delta reports $150,000 taxable income. He reports no income other than that earned from Delta, and Carl claims the standard deduction. Now, what is Delta's income tax liability, assuming Carl withdraws none of the earnings from the C corporation? What is Carl's income tax liability? What is the total tax liability for the corporation and its shareholders? All right. Now, it said Delta Corporation. Okay. Did you multiply $150,000 by 21%? Did the corporation make $150,000? Multiply it by 21%. Let's see what you got.
21%.
Yeah.
31,500.
Okay, Cole, I'm just guessing. I haven't read the questions real good, but I hope that's an answer somewhere. All right. All right, why is that an answer? Okay, income tax, 21%. That's Trump's new law. 21% is it, over and out. Now, look at the front of your textbook, no, the back of your textbook. You see those corporation rates on the back of your textbook? All right, no, very back. All right, I don't know if you have this back or not. Do you, Clayton?
At the top of the table.
Yeah, right here. that it?
Appropriations, yeah,
All right, pre what?
2018.
Pre-18. Used to, you had all these rates up to 39%. It's flat now because of Trump, 21%. I like it. I like the 21%. Now, if we go up to 39% on corporations, they price their goods higher than your tax on. Now, this tax rate, from what I can get, this is an opinion, it helped corporations come back to this country. Some of these corporations left because they were paying 39% tax in this country. And they came back because they're paying 21. Well, they're staying here because they're paying 21. They gave bonuses to some of their employees. They hired more people. So, from all indications, it's a good thing. I don't care if you like Trump or not. It seems to be a good thing. Okay? Maybe you like Bernie, who wants convicted felonies to vote. Maybe you like Elizabeth Warren, who wants to pay everybody's education and cancel everybody's student loan. Maybe, oh, well, I can go on and on. All right. I don't know about Clayton, but Cole looks like he's a Republican. More or less. It don't matter. What I'm saying about Elizabeth Warren is the truth. That's what she wants to do. And what I'm saying about Bernie Sanders, he wants to give prisoners a right to vote. Now, Clayton, if you were the Boston bomber and you killed 3 people and injured about 100, and you're in prison, do you think you should have a right to vote?
Not really.
What do you think, Cole? All right, Cole's answer was quicker than yours, Clayton. You had to think about it. Cole didn't have to think about it much. So, you might be a Democrat. But
I was thinking about giving them a half vote.
Okay. Again, it don't matter. I just kid about politics, and I just want you to vote for somebody, stand for something. Religion, if a religion makes you a better person, I'm all for it. I don't care if it's Jewish, Muslim, Christianity, Catholic. I have a lot of family that are Catholic because they went to Detroit and they married Catholic people. And my Hispanic brother-in-law, he's definitely Catholic. Most Hispanics seem to be Catholic. All right, and I have had Jewish friends, and I think some of the president's family are Jewish. And my sister in Detroit has a Muslim family next to her. She couldn't ask for any better. They brought her flowers on Easter Sunday. They bring her food sometimes. Her little kids love my sister, and so on. So you see, a person is a person. Okay, Muslim, Jew, Catholic, Christian. I've always been confused about Catholics. Are they Christians? Or are they the oldest kind of Christian? I don't know. But I have went to, I went to a Church of God, a Holiness Church, a Church of Christ, a Baptist. So I've visited a lot of different churches in the Christian denomination. The only one I condemn now, and I've told you this before, is Snake Hamlet. Over here in Jolo, West Virginia, somewhere, they do snake handling. Have you heard of them, Cole? Have you, Clayton? Whereas, if you have faith, you play with this rattlesnake in your hand. If you got good faith, they ain't going to bite you. So I'm not going to play with that rattlesnake. That rattlesnake don't know my faith. Okay, the next question, B part. Now we'll get serious. Assume that Delta instead distributes 80,000 of its after-tax earnings to Carl as a dividend in the current year. Now he's getting a dividend. He's not an employee. Now how much tax is he going to pay on that dividend? Well, if we work it right, he's gonna pay 15%. Okay? Um, where do you get this, 38,000 from? Times zero? What was that, 38.6?
Doesn't say anything about it.
Well, go, if you multiply zero times anything, it's zero. We know that. So it's 29.4 times 15%. So let's see. They were distributing 80,000. Distributed 80,000 of its after-tax earnings to Carl as a dividend in the current year. What is the total income tax liability for the C corporation and its shareholder? C corporation is this. But now, what does 38.6 and 29.4 add up to?
$68,000.
How much?
68,000.
Yeah. I don't know where they got 68,000 from. And we know he pays no Social Security tax. I want to look at this star here and see what they mean. Let's see what they're talking about. Now, okay, I forgot to take that out. Code 80,000 minus standard deduction 68,000, right? Now, if that's the only income he got 80,000. Take out the standard deduction, he's taxed on 68. And that's what they're showing you here. Now, which is subject to 0 and 15% on qualified dividends. Now, here is my puzzle. My puzzle is this. Where did they get 38.6 exempt? We've overlooked something. All right, we know the rate is 15. I would have taken 68 multiplied by 15%. That's what my tax return would have done, because 68 times 15. But now, why did he get an exemption? Mark that down as a question. We're going to answer that by Tuesday. Why did he get an exemption of 38.6 times 0? Got to be a special something there that I'm overlooking or forgotten. Okay, now C part. How would your answer change if Carl withdrew 80,000 from the business in salary? Assume the corporation pays 6120 of Social Security taxes on the salary, which it can deduct from the 150. Carl also pays the 6120 of Social Security tax on the salary, which he cannot deduct. Now, this brings up a lot of good stuff. If he makes himself an employee of the business, he's getting a salary. All right. Okay. Income tax on the corporation. They get to deduct all the Social Security from the 150 or whatever, and his salary as an expense. So here's the corporation tax liability now, 13 instead of 31. But it's still trying to show you double taxation. And even if you're an employee, this corporation has double taxation. All right, came out better to give him a dividend. Okay, Carl, income tax, 4453.50 plus 22%. Now that's the bracket he's in. We can go to the front of the book and find that. All right. 68, I guess, was dividends. We paid out Social Security tax. The tax on the first 38.7 is 44 and 22% excess. That's okay. But you see, you're better to be a corporation about dividends. Now, depending on how you do it here, this could be better. The corporation has more deductions. Corporation only pays 13 tax. Now, in my son's case, he's a sub S. He's a sub S. All right. And I don't want him to pay any corporation tax. Sub S don't pay taxes anyway. But he, you know, the corporation can deduct his social security tax, his salary, and all that. He'll have less from the sub S given to him to pay taxes on. All right, moving to D. How was your answers to parts A, C change if Delta were instead an S corporation? Okay, that brings up my point. Come in, Jonathan. Here's they're showing you that Delta's taxes to taxable income. Take out the salary deduction, take out the Social Security, Delta's taxable income. Carl's taxable income is 68. That's the salary minus the 12,000 standard. Ordinary tax rate. To get 80,000 from C corporation to Carl, the dividend alternative is the lowest tax liability because low corporation tax rate. All right, and we saw that the corporation would be better off here. Now, however, here's one other thing to think about. When you're putting Social Security, you're putting in 6, corporations putting in 6. What are you going to get back from that Social Security, Clayton? Hopefully you're going to get what? Medicare and a paycheck every month. Okay? All right. Now, if you went this route, you better take out your own health insurance and your own investment. You will not get a Social Security check under this method up here. You will not get Medicare under this method. Saw a report on TV the other day, Medicare is going to be broke by 2025 before you all start drawing it. But they will supplement it some way, okay? Some way they'll supplement it. Okay, now, I guess I was looking for D part. Now here is if, back to A part, there is no income tax for Delta if they are a sub S. All the money is taxed as the individual. The total tax is $20,786. Now, if it's a C corporation, how much was it? 35? That's why I had my son to do sub S. But I did have him pay himself a salary, and the sub S would deduct his Social Security. Okay. The B part is the sub S. Taxes would be the same because all sub S pays no taxes. C part, if he's an employee, he pays income taxes and he's not paying double Social Security. All right, now on these first 4 problems, Jonathan, I had to give them a quick assignment. I had to have 4 forms. Evaluations of these people we're going to try to hire. They picked the record, they're going to hire this fellow. He comes from Asheville, North Carolina. So he can speak Southern talk. One of these starts from New York, he could speak, you could understand him well, that's clear. But he was, all right, he was too confident. When you get too confident about something, it makes you what? What? Talking arrogant, yeah. You feel too calm. And we felt like he was arrogant and could be cocky. Okay, now looking at number 29, making the election. How does he make the election? Now let's just look at all these together. You make the S election by filing Form 2553 in a timely manner. But now, if you're starting a new corporation, you start out as a sub S already, you're okay. You don't have to do this. The corporation can make the S election anytime during the preceding year. Preceding, is that before or after? Do what? Before. So if you made this election in 2017, all right, then you could have filed as S corporation 2018. But if you did it on the 15th day of the third month for which the election is effective. All right, the election will take effect on the first day of the next tax year unless the corporation obtains relief from the IRS for its late election. All right. That's just making an election. That's just the small details of the chapter. 30, termination of the election. Again, just looking at all these in one broad picture. The sale of the second class of stock terminates the S election at the close of business. You only have common stock, class A, no other classes. 2 tax returns are required to cover the following time period. The S corporation from January 18 to September, and then a C corporation from September to December. You don't want to do that. You don't want to file 2 tax returns. If you want to do a sub S, make sure it's for the whole year. Right? And don't lose it during the year where you have to do a C corporation and an S. The IRS does not recognize Class B common stock as a second class of stock. And the S corporation election does not terminate if the only difference between the original stock and the Class B stock is voting rights. Okay, now what was the difference? A and C. And that was 20. That was 30. Let's see. If you sold a second class of stock, issued stock, okay. C part, how would your answer be if instead the second class of stock were non-voting Class B common stock? Okay, since it's non-voting, I guess. The only difference is voting right, you don't terminate your election. So moving on to 31. All right, revoking the election. Now, what we'll cover here is making the election, losing the election, revoking the election, or whatever. Here, Tango Corporation must file a revocation statement on or before June to which the sole shareholders consent. If they file before the end of 18, it can designate a date for 2018 or later. If they file it before March, it takes effect at the beginning of 2019 otherwise. All right. The corporation files an S corporation return January to June and a C for the rest of the year. Don't like that either. The S corporation must wait 5 years before making a new election. If you lose it, you wait 5 years. Okay, now that's summing up the first 10 or 12 pages in your chapter. Making the election, losing the election, waiting, and so forth. Excuse me. Now we're going back to chapter 3. We'll get to chapter 11 more next week. Now in chapter 3, did I not give you a corporate return to do? Did I give you problem 61? page 58. Would that give you problem 63?
I think it was 60.
All right. I want you to start putting as much of that as you can on your return between Tuesday. We're going to finish it. We're going to look at some other parts of it. Think, how many returns do you copy? How many you got?
One each.
One each. You did an S, and you did a 20, did a K1 for this. Okay, now we'll need those next week. We need the C today. And John, as long as you got a C, you got an S, you have a C, that first one. All right, you got a C. Now, if we mess this one up today, that means start putting some of that problem on it, so you gotta run another. Okay? Now let's look at this C here today. All right. I don't have the problems picked out, but we got to practice this. Let's see. First off, I want y'all to look at number 50. Take a minute and see what you can jot down for number 50. If I find a problem I want. Okay, that's number 50, correct?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at it real quick, and we got to go to some tougher stuff. Here, comparing taxable income and income tax liability are computed. You've got a gross profit, that's 80,000 to start with. Now, this short-term gain, are we taxed on that or are we not? We are, aren't we? Now, if it were lost, we'd have to carry it back. Now, long-term capital gain, we got to subtract one from the other. Dividends from a 25% owned corporation. How much of those dividends will be taxed? Does it tell you on your form? Right? Does it tell you? I don't know which page it is. Page 2. Can you find the answer there? If you own 25%, how much of that 15,000 will be taxed if you own 25% of a domestic corporation? Is it? Can you find it in those rules there? Well, we'll figure it out in a minute. NOL carryover from preceding year. Now that reduces your uh, taxable income. Then take away your expenses. Well, you got 80,000. If you just took away expenses of 45 from those, you don't have much left, and you got this short-term capital gain or loss. So let's dig in and see what that problem was supposed to look like. Which one were we on? Were we on 51 or 50? Which one?
50.
All right, either one of those are okay, but
I think you're still in chapter 11.
huh?
You're still in chapter.
Well, no wonder it looked funny. Gotta go back to 3. All right, so we had gross profit. I was looking at problem 51, but that's okay. About the same. Gross profit, dividends more than 20% owned corporation. How much were those dividends? Does it say they're 30?
30,000.
30,000. All right, more than, okay. Now we got gross income 150. Operating expenses of 65. Taxable income adjusted 85, no problem. Now charitable deduction, we're going to take 10% of adjusted taxable income before charitable deduction. So 85,000 times 10%, we'll get a donation of 8,500, leaving us taxable income of 76.5. All right, now do you see that on that dividend page, Jonathan? Do you see 65%? Isn't that the first line or two? Gotta be there. Gotta be here. But it says dividend from 20% or more on. It should have gave you those percents though. It don't give them to you like it used to. Last year it gave the percentages. Now we have to look them up. It's there, but we are only taxed on 65% if we own more than 20, okay? It's there. But now your old forms had the percents laid out there for you. Okay, so we're taxed on 65%. Taxable income, 57. Flat rate, 21%. No tables. Flat rate, 21%. All right. Now that 1,500 and 15,000 carryover. Pace has a 1,500 charitable contribution carryover for the next 5 years. He got to take 8,500, but he gave how much? How much did they give in charity out of their pocket? How much did they give in charity?
10,000.
All right, and they only deduct how much? So how much is carried over? 1,500. Now, they have a $15,000 capital loss that can carry back for 3 years and forward for 5. All right. Well, see, I was looking at the next problem. I thought they had a capital gain, but long-term capital loss of how much? And a short-term capital loss. 10 and 5 makes 15. You cannot take a loss in the year of the loss. I always thought that was weird, but you can't take a loss in the year of the loss. You have to go back and forward. Okay. Now I'm going to look at 51 since we're at it, then we're going to do some reconciling. All right, now this company has gross profits. This one had capital gains of 65. Dividends from more than 20% owned corporation. Gross income will be 160,000. We'll take out operating expense. We're going to take out 65% of the dividends. You're taxed on, you either take out 65% or you're taxed on 35. Know the difference. And it'll carry over 9. Well, now your taxable income is 96,000. Your taxes is 21%. Okay. So what have we established today? The tax rate is 21%. Few rules on how to do an S corporation. But now we're going to look at all right, I want you to go over and read. I don't know if we can put this on form or not. All right, let's go over to page 50. The problem 58. Now get out your corporate return. We're only going to do one little section of it. Don't let me see it. I'll tell you. I don't know which page it's on now. Page 3. On page 3. It'll be on page 4 under the balance sheet. All right. Page 4 of the balance sheet, yeah. I want to go down to M1 and M2. And let's see if we can take care of this before we get out of here today. Now, a balance sheet you know about, an income statement you know about, a retained earnings statement you ought to know about, but this schedule here you don't know about. All right? So, I want you to go to problem 58. Look down through there, see what's the first thing you can put on that M1. What is the first thing you can put on M1? All right, net income per books, right? Go ahead and put that on there. I just want to walk you through some of this form today. What's the next thing you put on there? All right, do that. What's line 3, Jonathan, on that? All right, how much is that? All right, you found that, so go ahead and put that on there. You're right. And let's go down to line 5. Line 4 doesn't count. Line 5, A part is 0. Try to find contributions or any excess contributions. How much?
4,000.
I'm looking for that, John, but I don't see it.
It's on the very bottom.
Yeah, okay, we got that line. All right, see if we have anything for line C and D. See if we have anything for line C and D. We do, so I'm telling you, you do.
We don't have the same number. I don't.
Huh?
I don't have the same number as number 1. Net income.
I don't either.
Are we supposed to subtract the 156 from the 738?
Net income per books before taxes, yes. Yeah, now that'll give you the same number. I'm glad you pointed that out, Jonathan. Yeah, this is net income after taxes. 581.76. Okay, now have you found anything to go on the next two lines? Interest, have you found any interest on to purchase tax exempt bonds? And have you found any insurance on the life of corporate officer?
I'm done.
All right. I want you to put those down. Those add up to 20.
Hold on.
Huh?
Um,
Well, I hope it is. Let's see how that is working. Let's see.
if we had appreciated.
Let's see.
There's a travel and everything.
Oh, we got line 1, 2, and 3, right? I don't know if any income such tax is not on the books. We'll look. All right. Okay, now 5. Do we have any excess triple deductions?
Yes, that was 4,000.
Right now, we did have the 4,000. You put that on there, didn't you? No depreciation,
Thank you.
no taxes, entertainment. Okay, Jonathan. Okay, now let's see. All right, let's see if we can fill in the other side. Okay, now first off, the forms, what we have to fill in, we know that. Expenses recorded on the books not deducted on this return. Now, Jonathan, we didn't deduct that on the return. Now, we did not deduct internal loan to purchase tax exempt bonds. We did not. And we did not deduct life insurance premiums. So those, I think, are going to have to go down there under. Let's see. So what that whole section says. Income subject to tax, not expenses recorded on the books this year, but not deducted on tax. Okay. You're going to have to put interest and insurance. Put them in there. Add them together. Separate seven to all be added together. Okay. Got to go in there. Well, I want your total to be 766. Now, is that line 6 on your return?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're together on line 6. As long as we have 766. I'm telling you, these are hard to reconcile. That's why we're going to do a problem straight from the book to do it. All right. Then we got to look at it on a whole return next week. All right. Now, line 7. Now, line 7 on your return is the income on books not on this return. Line 7. I put down to 10,000. Now that income was 10,000, tax exempt interest. How about the 40,000? Do you see that depreciation for 40?
Yeah.
Now read what the MACRS depreciation exceeding book depreciation. 40,000. Now we took that 40,000 on this return, but we took straight line on our books. Now total those up. Give me line 10. All right, now have you got 716 on line 10? I know that figure that now you don't see nothing equal, do you? They don't have to equal. They do not have to equal. Now, if we were doing the be part of this thing? There's no need to do this. This does not go on form. All right, now we're gonna go down. See if I got into one of these forms? No? Okay. And we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down to number 1. I'm gonna make up a figure, $100,000 is the retained earnings at the beginning of the year. Okay, now what's it say to add to it? Net what? And it wouldn't, per what? Per books. Which number was that? Line 2 or 3?
Are you on back on M1 or?
On both. Okay. Yeah, it's correct. I'm making up some figures. Okay. What is line 2, Jonathan? Well, go ahead and get it from up here on M1. Whatever you can get down here from M1. All right. Now over here under distributions, let's say we give out cash dividend of 200,000. Cash dividend 200,000. Now reconcile your retained earnings statement and give me the ending balance the retained earnings should have. That's easy. We're gonna get 1 or 2 shots at that. So the ending retained earnings, how much? And you take that up here. All right, now you're beginning retained earnings, what line is it? Okay, 24, that was 100,000, right? What's your ending retained earnings? All right, now you gotta plug that in before you finish your balance sheet. Okay, guys, I got to look at 2 statements here today. Now, your biggest chore for Tuesday is to be working on that one problem I gave you. But I'm gonna give you one more here also. See what you can do with problem 60. Problem 60. One problem, guys, one problem. Okay, and you can have a good weekend. And Clayton, I don't think you all have intermediate today, do you?
No.
Mr. Allen, is he gonna record the lecture?